Hello again, Mythical Family folks. Dad Thulu here, just chatting, and we're going to see how things go. We had a game scheduled tonight, a game called Dread, and because it's the time of year where roads are bad, weather is bad, folks get sick, and they, get sick in groups kind of thing. We had lots of the folks cancel almost the entire game for this week, so we're going to postpone it, and we will be putting it on later. But I did want to talk a little bit about the game that we're putting on that we were supposed to be playing, called Dread, and it's a game I like a lot. I enjoy the way it just lets people engage in the role play of a game and not get complicated with the formulas and dice and statistics and skill checks and all of that comes with a more regular role-playing game like Dungeons and Dragons or Pathfinder or Cyberpunk or Alien or any of the thousands of games that are out there. One of the things that can be daunting when you're trying to show that to new people is all of the mechanical crunch. The mechanical crunch is there as part of the game design to keep things on an even keel and establish sort of what is the norm and how you compare things in the game. And that's the important part of the statistics. Comparatively, who is stronger? Comparatively, who is faster? Comparatively, if I'm trying to attack somebody and they're trying to not be attacked, who succeeds? Who's better at it? So all of those things are important to a normal role-playing game, but can be daunting for new people. Dread is one of my favorite games for introducing new people to the concept of role-playing. This is from The Impossible Dream, and Dread is a game that does away with a lot of those mechanics and resolves all of the conflict and skill checks and all of the adversity with a wooden block tower. No dice rolls, no how strong am I, can I do that? Well, that'll be anticlimactic later, but that's part of the fun of the game. So, as you do these skill checks, wow, that was unfortunate. As you do these skill checks and you pull the blocks and set them on the tower gets more and more wobbly, just like the normal way you play this game. When you tip the tower, like I just did, your action fails and fails catastrophically. This is what eliminates you from the game. The one thing that Dread has that is sort of against my usual play style is Dread is an elimination style game. It is designed to be a group of camp counselors out at a summer camp, and there is a monster that drowned in the lake years ago that is out picking off the counselors. It's trying to find them, trying to kill them. Or a werewolf running around a campground trying to find people. Anything that is something awful or dreadful out there, trying to find the group and either capture or eliminate them can be used in Dread. So it doesn't have to always be something evil coming for the characters. You can also do a heist or robbery type event where the group of characters has successfully pulled off their heist, but now they have to get away from law enforcement. They tip the tower, they get caught, they get trapped, they fall behind and get arrested, any of that sort of stuff. Anything where there is some sort of adversity or dreadful monstrosity out to get the characters, this game can be used for. It doesn't always have to be terrible. One of the very first games I ran was for a friend of mine, and their 10-year-old or 11-year-old daughter played the game as well. So the scenario I came up with for that, because you don't want anything gory, was all of the characters were the Lost Boys on Neverland Island from Peter Pan. So they were out camping. The evil pirates found their campground, and now they have to run through the woods and across the island to get home and escape the pirates. The pirates who want to capture them and drag them back to the ship to make the children do the chores that they don't want to do. Swabbing the deck and raising the sails and taking out the garbage and cooking, all of those things that the pirates don't want to do, all those chores. That's what happened to the captured kids. So it doesn't have to be graphic. You don't have to go Saw with it or Nightmare on Elm Street with it. But that's the type of scenario that this game is designed for. So one of the issues with the game for me is somebody is going to get eliminated. Somebody is going to get eliminated, not necessarily early, but first. And that person is out of the game. So I like to try to work in creative ways where somebody isn't sidelined and watching everybody else play. It can be difficult, but there are mechanics and narrative ways that you can keep people around, either as an ethereal voice, or maybe they were captured but they escaped, or because they were captured, they come back in a cameo, but they're actually the bad guy now, trying to abuse somebody's trust and say, hey, come out here, it's safe out here. And then if somebody goes out there, they get caught. But just to keep everybody involved in the game. As the tower gets more and more wobbly, people will become more and more reluctant to make these pulls and face adversity, which is when the bad guy catches up, because they get to the point to where you will be captured if you don't go out the window. You will be arrested, or the werewolf will get you if you don't cross the rope bridge. Got to make the pull. And when they make the pull, either they're successful by the skin of their teeth, and when the tower is wobbly, it's actually very tense, and it's really fun. The other part I like about this as an introductory game is part of doing away with the mechanics, like getting rid of all of the dice and skill checks with this, is the character sheet doesn't have a bunch of complicated information on it. The character sheet is actually just a personalized questionnaire that's made up by the person running the game. I was going to run the game tonight, so I made up the questionnaires for all of the players. And the questionnaire is full of leading questions that tie the people to the game, to the story, gives them a reason to be there, sort of grounds them in the narrative. Why are you on this boat? Why did you want to be a camp counselor? That kind of thing. And ideally establishes some connection between them so that everybody in the group is not necessarily a stranger. They don't all wake up in a room and don't know each other. That can be done. It makes for better narratives, in my experience, when the folks have a reason to work together from the start and interact and have some history or some tie or connection. So the person running the game writes those questions. The questionnaires for the game that was supposed to happen tonight, the game was going to be straight out of a bad 80s B-grade horror movie. A bunch of high school students that are sneaking into a wax museum after dark for high school shenanigans. And of course, something dreadful is going to happen, or it wouldn't be a story, right? So all of the questions were about them being in high school. Why are they on the trip? Why did they want to sneak into this wax museum? What is the prank or stunt that they're going to pull? Why do they want to be here? That sort of thing. So it all gave them connections to each other, being from the same school, and leading questions that tied to each other's characters in a vague sense. You've got a good memory about somebody here. You don't know who yet, but what is it? You had a bad connection with somebody else at the table. You don't know who yet, but what was it that happened? And in doing that, when I get the questionnaires back before the game, that's also new information I put on those questionnaires to give to the players that they correspond to as role-playing prompts, acting prompts. So you will learn right before you play that your character helped somebody else's character through math, but also your character was the reason that somebody else's character got busted for smoking on campus or something like that. So you guys know each other and have some kind of established relationship other than these high school students just passing in the hall and seeing each other. But the questionnaire part, not being full of statistics and skills and ratings and numbers and modifiers, really lets people who are not familiar with that engage the idea of an actual character that they want to step into the shoes of, being the character in the movie, being the character in the story, not just being themselves, what would I do? But this sort of is a really good and gentle gateway into actually playing a role in a role-playing game. So I really like this game for that a lot. And when the tower tips, something got you. And that's Dread. We have a few of these games coming up. This one, I was supposed to run one tonight, and folks unfortunately had to cancel. And I have another one that I've already worked on. Still working some mechanics out because there's some unusual things I want to do. And this is a fun and simple mechanic, but it's also kind of limiting when you're used to the tool set of a more in-depth role-playing game. So working a couple things out. But the second game that I have on the slate for now, with no date yet, is going to be sci-fi based. And I want to do some specific things with that, and I'm still working that out. But I want to get through the first game first. And not there yet. But Dread is a very fun game, and most of the people in our group really like this game. It is a fun game to watch because the tension really does build when the tower gets wobbly. Everybody gasps when the tower shakes. Everybody I know in the gaming group is much better at Jenga than I seem to be tonight. Much better at the wooden blocks than I am. I have played games where the tower didn't tip until somebody deliberately did it. When you have a bunch of woodblock tower sharks at the table, basically. I have had another game. It's actually a streamed game. It's on our channel, our YouTube, I believe, where I had a player take a couple of polls before the game started, and they were a freebie mechanic for them later in the game. And before the game even started, they tipped the tower. So I had to work on that. If you happen to see this, Matt, I love you dearly, buddy. But I waited so long to meet you that I definitely couldn't have had you out before we started. All right, but Dread is a lot of fun, and we have Dread coming up in a couple of iterations. So hopefully folks can look forward to that. We are also working on several exciting things for the channel. We have a couple of local groups that we're looking forward to working with. We also have a couple of local creators that we have found either through local Facebook groups or messengers, Discord channels, or on Kickstarter. I watch for local Kickstarters and back local Kickstarters to support local creators for gaming content. And we have reached out to them. There are a couple of games that we're working on with content for that. I don't know that those will be streamed or on our channel. We do intend to give them the opportunity to do that if they want to. So we'll see how that goes, but we're enjoying supporting local creators. It's really important to support gaming creators, especially those in your area. And it's even more important right now with all of the open gaming license, I want to say drama, but just the tension that's going on with that. Drama sort of downplays it some, and I don't want to do that. I'm not going to get into it. I definitely have opinions on it. I also am of the opinion that my own opinion is not informed enough to bother spouting off to other people about it. So it is something I am watching closely, and I hope anybody that's interested in the hobby and enjoys gaming is watching it as well, as much as is reasonable for your time and attention span. But there's a lot happening, and there's a lot of digging to find the right information, the true information. So there's a lot going on there. But independent creators are really under a lot of stress right now, if nothing else. So supporting local creators is important, and it is something that we like to do. We've backed a couple of Kickstarters. In fact, I have some of them are starting to come in, so I have a little bit of an unboxing over here to do. The two gaming related Kickstarters I have to open are not local. We don't have their stuff yet, but we will be doing unboxings and reviews of that stuff when we get our hands on it. I do have the PDFs for some of the games, but they have not been released yet, so I want to get specific permission before I talk too much about those. However, supporting local creators and local gaming groups is something that we find very important. It's what Mythical Family is all about. Supporting local creative people, hobbyists, people that are in fandoms, anything where folks express their nerdiness and their passion for a genre, for any kind of fandom. We want folks to know that we're out here, and everybody should be allowed to let their nerd flag fly. Everybody should have a safe place to do so, because people should be able to express and enjoy the things that they're passionate about. And if you don't have a safe place on your own, you have a safe place with us. All right, so what else do we have going? We have a collaborative project we're working on. Two of our members of Mythical Family are actually going to be in a game on another channel. Streamed role-playing game. We will be playing Star Trek, so it's not a D&D game. We have not started that yet, and it won't be on our channel, but we will make sure that our social media stuff and our website reflect where to find it if you want to watch it. It is with a very talented, very fun GM that we have met through all of our collaborative processes and whatnot. We have not met Sarah in person yet, but I enjoy a lot the interaction that we have with this GM, and it's going to be a lot of fun playing Star Trek. We're still setting up the game. It's not going to be an in-person game like we tend to do with our Sunday D&D stream, Prismatic Dragonfly. It will be a Discord remote gaming game with some virtual tabletop aspects to it. But as of right now, sorry, my throat's real dry. I don't usually talk this much. Starting right now, we're just sort of getting the group together, finding a cohesive group that can play a crew of Starfleet officers. The Star Trek game is has a little more strict guidelines on the type of play you do. The storyline is a Starfleet ship run by Starfleet officers, so there's a little bit of modeling you need to fit into. So getting that sorted out, as well as finding people who have good chemistry when they play, personalities that interact and are all on the same page and enjoy playing the same way, it takes a little bit of work. It's not that much work for a normal gaming group, but for something that's going to be a streamed production and you expect folks to watch, there's some curating that should happen. Not every game that happens at a table is necessarily stream or podcast worthy, but every game out there that folks want to play is awesome and amazing and should engage everybody that's there. And it's a beautiful hobby, and I hope everybody that plays it can find people that they click with and enjoy gaming with. So we're working on that collaboration. That won't be on our channel. We're just collaborating with another GM. There is a playtest game for one of the local creators that I'm in, I think it's next week. And we will be showcasing as much of that person's stuff as they're willing to do. I don't know if I said this already or not, but I don't know if they're going to stream their stuff or want to show it on stream, but we're definitely intending to give them that opportunity. That's one of the things we want to do to support local gaming and local creators especially. So yeah, we've got lots of things in the works. We're still working on our huge project of Brindlewood Bay, which we want to do a lot of heavy editing to. It's going to be presented like a TV show. So it's a little daunting, and we want to sort of go all in on it. So that project's going to move a little slow. However, we're really, really excited about it. Brindlewood Bay is another Kickstarter that we backed. The game was already out, but there was a Kickstarter to sort of refurbish and revise it and add new content to it. And the theme of the game resonated with us in a remarkable way. We let's see what we got here. Okay, we are going to be playing a game that it's essentially Murder, She Wrote, but it's kind of like Golden Girls meets Cthulhu, or, well, Golden Girls meets Murder, She Wrote. There's mysterious things that are afoot, and there is a group of retired mystery novel fans that want to solve these mysteries, and they meddle locally. So it's going to be a lot of fun. But like I said, that one we want to go all out on, which is going to be a lot of production, a lot of editing, and that sort of thing. So we're going to take that one slow. What else do we have going? I just don't want to miss anything. We have some other local streamers we want to do some games with. There's a group that was actually on our stream briefly on our Halloween stream called Mythic Geekdom that do several other things and are heavily slanted toward educational and therapeutic uses for role-playing games and mechanics and stuff. So we want to work with them. We had them here. We met them in person. The folks we met were incredibly fun and very good people. And we have some fun games that we want to work with them on as well. So lots in the works. But for right now, we're trying to get Prismatic Dragonfly back on track or figure out what we're going to do with our regular Sunday stream, because we do plan to keep that time slot going. Gaslands, I'm going to do some events at the local gaming stores and venues. So, sorry. To get some new folks involved in the game, expose the local community to that a little more. Gaslands is a really fun and very accessible game, especially for a tabletop war game. So I'll be putting that together and hopefully meeting some new people, having some folks in here to get Gaslands as a streamed event on a regular rotation. We're not sure if it's going to be every week or every other week. And not every stream is just going to be an arena battle. There's going to be several different things we do with that we're looking forward to. So I think that's pretty much what I had planned for my State of the Family address, my sofa talk. Yeah, so lots of good things. We've been on a really slow stretch. We've pretty much been on break since Thanksgiving. Everybody has family and whatnot. This is all volunteer. Folks have been getting sick, and where we are, we've had a couple of really bad storms, which has made travel pretty rough. It's a couple days getting out of my neighborhood to the main streets has felt like sort of trailblazing on the Yukon kind of thing. So it's we do get some extreme weather here in the High Sierras. So we've had a couple of really good winter storms, and that has impacted everybody's travel and set people's schedule on ear. But we're looking forward to getting back on track. And I've got a lot of projects on the table. I really want to hit the ground for 2023 running really strong with Mythical Family, getting us out there to meet local groups and get more things going. Alrighty, so let me start peeking at this stuff. I'm going to put the Dread book away. And let's switch. There we go. Alrighty, so the first Kickstarter that I had backed. This is an older one, but the fulfillment just finally came through. That's going to be upside down, though, isn't it? Is The Grim and Deliberate Beast. Okay, no, that looks like it's right. There were a few fun things that came with this Kickstarter. And, all right, so one of the things that they did, and I don't know how I feel about this, but I backed it anyway because it was fun. What is the, I'm trying to remember exactly what they call these. Precision high variance dice. So what these dice do, and I'm solo in the studio here, so pardon me while I lean. Let me make sure this is visible for the camera here. And I'm a few seconds behind. Okay. So these dice have multiple 1s and multiple 20s. They do away with some of the results in the middle of the scale and give you multiple 2s, multiple 20s. So there's multiple 19s as well. There you go, 19, 19. Multiple 1s. And they did that with the D10s as well. 1, 10, 1. There's another 10 over here. So they do away with some of the middle results and weigh it with the extreme high and low results. They sort of, mathematically, you can think of it as them trying to sort of flatten out the bell curve. So you end up with more of the results at the end of the curve. More chances to get 1s, more chances to get 20s, more chances to get 19s and 2s. It's interesting. I don't know how I feel about it. I did back to get the dice just for giggles, and they are really nice looking dice. They're a set of opaque and clear, and they're red and black. They're good looking dice. I don't know that I'll actually use these. The fun thing about this gives, there's a lot of lore in here for creature types. So there's lots of more made up background and fluff for orcs and drow and beholders and bugbears and all sorts of things in here. But there are also all sorts of charts for criticals, for if the monsters call for reinforcements, what shows up, but more importantly, and I think the primary gist of what this was about and why I backed it was behavior cards. It came with this set of cards, and all of these are in the book as well, but the cards just make it more handy. And it has things like zombies and wraiths and wights, elementals, trolls, lots of the roleplay creatures that we're used to and know. Golems, hobgoblins, gnolls, ghouls, and you can find things that relate. These charts, these cards are set up with charts to randomize the behavior for encounters. If you run into zombies, you make a couple of die rolls, and it really quickly, as the GM, gives you an outline as to how they behave, what they have, what they're going to do, how fiercely they're going to fight. It just sort of helps you flesh out the encounter without them always being the same. It's another group of goblins who are going to fight with spears, and they're going to fight till the death, maybe the last two will try to run away. Instead of doing that, you've got these charts that really quickly take all of that pressure off you. And not that GMs can't do this anyway, but it just sort of takes the pressure off you and gives you an outline and lets you run with the story. So I thought it was a very neat thing. I don't know how much I'll use them, but I liked the concept of this a lot. For instance, if you run into lizard folks, I think the aggression levels are all the same. The percentages of how often they are each varies from creature to creature. But are they fearful? Are they measured? So are they cautious? Are they aggressive? Or are they absolutely fanatic? Pre-combat modifiers. So depending on where you are, for certain creatures there are modifiers, like if you're, let's see, if you're near a town, their aggression level is probably going to be less because they're more on guard. There are linchpin casting events, so things can change if somebody uses magic or if their leader dies. You roll randomly what their general intelligence is. Are they dim-witted? Do they have average intelligence? Are they intelligent? And are they absolutely brilliant? Are they really smart for what they are? Random scattering of what weapon types are. Ideas for what specialized units might be. If you run into the lizardmen, is it always a shaman that's with them? No, this says they can have a crested lizard, they can have a cold-skinned shaman, they can have basilisk hunters, and they can have things called dry scales. Goes into what those are in the book. Special abilities. Can they hold their breath? Do they have good sixth sense? Are they resistant to poison? Behavior qualities. Do they love the sun? Are they isolationist? They've got specific grudges against things. This just sort of helps a GM with a couple of rolls of dice that you can roll all at once, vary the behavior really easily of these creatures. As I said, I'm not sure how often I'll use it. I'm not much of a random encounter kind of guy. I like to tell a story. Sometimes it's fun to just have things appear. Sometimes there are mechanics in a module or in a scenario or even in something you've written where something random can happen. Random creatures can show up. But these cards really give you the benefit of these people who have really sat down and gone in depth on these things, use what they've built with a couple of really quick rolls and maybe referencing the book. But the artwork is really nice on these cards, as you can hopefully see. And most of the fantasy monsters that we're used to are in here and have these charts available to them. So this was a really, really fun Kickstarter. These guys, Alec Wilson, let's see, what's the name of the company? I can't recall. DMG Workshop. Yeah. This is a very, very cool resource. It's really neat to have, and it's just kind of fun to have. I wanted to back this because I really like the idea of different kinds of content becoming normalized. So not just another adventure, not just another campaign world. Not to downplay those take a lot of work. But it's sort of neat to see new tools get developed as well, things to help folks make their games more dynamic. Not every group of skeletons, not every encounter fighting skeletons or zombies or beholders or basilisks or anything else, they shouldn't all be the same. So if you came across a beholder that for some reason, one of the linchpin fights, one of the famous creatures from fantasy and from D&D specifically. If you fight a beholder and you roll on this chart, how does it change it if the beholder is actually fearful and cautious instead of aggressive and wanting to come out and bite everybody's heads off? What if the trolls are actually bright instead of just charging at you and smashing with your club? What if they wait until you hit their traps? So it makes things a little more dynamic, and I thought this was a very cool tool set. I don't know how much I'll use it. I'm definitely going to at least play test it because I do want to see it in action. We might do a show on just that. It might be interesting to get a couple of people together to show exactly what this does and have them make characters and run through the same encounter and have the characters behave the same way and vary what the monsters do and see what the outcomes are. So we may do that. I'm not sure, but the Grim and Deliberate Beast, the Tome of Lore from DMG Workshop, this was a very fun Kickstarter, and this is very fun material to have. The cards and behaviors and stuff, a lot of this is psychological and things like what are they equipped with, how are they going to behave, what kind of environment are they in. These are not game system specific. These are largely universal and can be used with any game that has these creatures. So this one's a lot of fun. Kind of hit and miss on the dice. Interesting concept, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just old and I'm a little too much of a purist for something weird like that. Something non-standard like that. All right. The next unboxing, this one's going to be kind of fun. Oh, my phone's going to die. I'm going to duck to intermission for just a moment so that I can plug in my phone, because it's what I'm using to control the stream. I will be right back, folks, I promise. All right, sorry about that. One of the downsides to operating solo. All right, so this next one we backed mostly because of the premise. Wonder if I'm going to have to cut this one open. Maybe not. This is a book written specifically. There we go. For relating to ADHD, which is a subject near and dear to my entire household and to many people here at Mythical Family. This is a book that is written as an adventure that's sort of... Oh, wow, check that out. There's the progressive pride flag right there. Nice. Well, let's see. Let me see if they have something in here where I can use their words. This adventure and set of rules is written to help depict and sort of convey an understanding of the challenges of ADHD and how they impact the people those of us that live with it. So, what does it say on the back here? May I have your attention, please? Such an innocent phrase, until the Fae who asks it, quite literally, walks away with your attention. Now you must journey into the magical, whimsical Fae realm of Lastudu to get it back. Adventures in ADHD educates players about ADHD in a diverse, inclusive environment while following a fantastic adventure through the Fae realms. See you in the Fae Wild. So this is an adventure written to sort of illustrate and let people connect with what the experience of ADHD actually is. For those of us that have ADHD, I suspect there's going to be a lot of fun in here as we get to see the things that we deal with and the challenges we have, I'll say. Sort of presented in, I'm going to guess, a lighthearted and fun way in a fantasy setting. And it will also, hopefully, I'm sure it was part of the intention, sort of explain and illustrate some of these conditions to people who aren't familiar with them and maybe don't know how to understand, recognize, or interact with and understand. So this one, I have not read it. I just opened the box, as you saw. This is, Adventures in ADHD from a group called Awfully Queer Heroes. And this one, I don't know that we'll get a chance to run it. I suspect we will, but we have so much on our plate right now, I don't want to put that on the schedule. I will be reading this book, though, and I really want to see how they do with presenting this. And I suspect there's a lot of humor in here for those of us that have the condition and understanding. So this is going to be a fun read and probably a fun play. This was also an amazing project, not just another adventure, but this has not necessarily a clinical or therapeutic license. In fact, the disclaimer in the front that I saw specifically says it's not that. It is written by, there are people involved with it that are, let's see, their disclaimer is, the content of this book is intended for educational and research purposes. While several of the creators behind the project have ADHD, none of the individuals involved in the generation of the material are licensed as clinical therapists or psychiatrists. The material contained herein is not intended for the purpose of clinical diagnosis or treatment of ADHD. This is just to help people sort of get an illustration. This illustrates it for folks that may not understand the condition and may not have to live with it like some of us do. However, I suspect for those of us that do have the condition, we're going to be on the inside of a lot of the jokes and imagery in here, where it's going to be incredibly entertaining for us. So I actually can't wait to go through this. I've been waiting to open this one. I've had it for several weeks now. This one is going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited about this one. We will do a more in-depth review on these things after we've had them for a while. This is going to be fun. I was really excited about this one. All right. And last but not least for the unboxing, one of our favorite dice groups, Kraken, had a sale around Thanksgiving. Actually, it was right before Christmas. It wasn't around Thanksgiving. It was closer to Christmas because this box got here really, really quickly. And it was right before Christmas. And I have not opened it. And the only reason it has lasted that long is because we've been really, really busy. Normally, we tear into these the moment they hit the porch. However, because of the holidays and everything else that's been going on, we had to wait a little bit to open it. I'm just going to cut straight across here. And after waiting this long, we decided we were going to wait until I could open it on camera and actually do an unboxing. We have lots of dice from Kraken. They are not the only company that we like. They are not the only company we buy from, but we do have a long history with Kraken, and we do like their dice a lot. They are a good company. They put out great quality products. Let's see. I should know everything that's in here because I made the order. However, it's been a while. All right, that's not going to work. So let's just take everything out of the box. What do we got here? We got this up here. I do know there are several of their minis. I think they were clearing some of them out. So I ordered a bunch of those just for us to have for our tabletop games, our role-playing games. I am not much of a miniatures player. I tend to be very heavily theater of the mind, which, I don't know, I'm kind of torn. Nitty, if you're still here, how's it going, buddy? I know I promised you a game tonight, but everybody canceled on me. We've got bad weather and people not feeling well and all sorts of stuff. So it's just me talking like a fool here on camera, talking about what we're doing for Mythical Family and doing some unboxing. Well, I guess it's good I'm the one opening it. There are members of our house who really, really dislike Easter grass. And there are other members of our house who are very, very bad at the way they handle and contain Easter grass. So I guess it's good that I'm opening this and I'm opening it here. We're going to just get rid of that. Okay, all right, I'm not sure. Let's do this. These are all their minis that I ordered. This is not their full collection. This is just several of the ones that they had going. I ordered a variety just for us to have for the game table, like I was saying. I usually do theater of the mind stuff myself, but it seems like lots of folks like the minis and the maps. They had a lot of these marked down. Wesley and Salvador, Pirate and Llama. Nice. Check him out. And I figured I would. He's got a peg leg. And he's riding a llama. That takes talent or a seatbelt. However, lots of the games that we run will be using minis and virtual tabletops and the like. So they were clearing these out, or at least they had a sale on them. I don't think they're getting rid of them, but they had a sale on them. We do like Kraken. This is a crocodile hunting goblin. So I ordered lots of these minis just to add to our collection, and you will see them on our streams moving forward. There are more here than I will probably paint. However, I bet some of the folks in the studio might pitch in for this. This is Wendy, who is an iron skillet wielding. Oh, look, they all have blurbs on them. Be wary in port. This town is run by pirates. The lucky ones need only worry about their wallets. Whether it is a conquering hero, a stealthy rogue, or a seafaring pirate captain, the Kraken collectible adventures series are a great addition to any campaign or combat scenario. Okay, so that's for the line that this comes from. Apparently they only printed 5,000 of Wendy. I don't think they're numbered, but they are limited. And Wendy is a human with a skillet, an iron skillet. Looks like she's designed for zombie-type scenarios. Most of these are different. I ordered duplicates of a few, but almost all of them are different. And there's, I don't know how many in here. And yes, that's a toilet. Let me see if I can find the counterpart to that. I know I ordered it. It is a mimic. So there is another mini in here that is a toilet that is much less friendly. Skeleton leader. I will have to dig it out. There are a lot of things in here, but like I said, I ordered a variety of their minis just to get some minis for our table and to support our buddies at Kraken, because we do like Kraken. They've been a good group for us. This is another, same one I opened earlier. That's a Croc Hunter Goblin. So I ordered a couple of those, obviously. Wesley and Salvador, I ordered a couple of those. This is Alejandro, the Assassin. I'm not going to go through all of these, folks. I'm just taking a peek at them. But these are very fun little minis. And there are, wow, I don't remember ordering this mini, but I clearly did. Combat wheelchair, goblin, skeleton with a hatchet. Okay, we're gonna stop digging through these, but I was looking for the counterpart to the toilet, and either I'm not seeing it or it's actually not in here, but there's, for people familiar with what a mimic is in the D&D or fantasy settings, mimics are creatures that can mimic inanimate objects and hide. So they look like a door, or stereotypically you'll see them in the artwork hiding as a chest, that kind of thing. There are lots of mimic figures where they are more uncommon things like bookshelves or chairs or tables or whatnot. And Kraken has one that is it's a regular toilet, and then it wolfs out and has teeth and a big mouth and a big ugly maw. And it struck me as quite comical. So I ordered the toilet mimic. Alrighty. Dice bags, and some stickers. Yeah, and that's the list of everything I ordered. So I put in a big order. Oh. So some fun Kraken stickers. Nice. I'm keeping that one. Definitely keeping that one. Oh, the Misfits. Okay, we'll get into those in a minute, because I want to give those some special attention. More Easter grass. The wife would be so unhappy. All right, so several of their fun dice bags. I went a little overboard with them. They have a whole bunch of 80s themed ones, which struck a soft spot with me. All of these are on their website. But this whole 80s techno vaporwave type thing, I love it. I absolutely love it, and I was a sucker for it, obviously, and ordered like one of each die bag they had like this. No idea what I'm going to do with them, and I really don't care. I just wanted them. This is great. I have some other stuff with this logo on it. I have a gaming pad, like a mouse pad. Passed all layer safety tests. Not a mimic. 99% guaranteed, not a mimic. And I like that one, so I got a couple of them. And I also liked this one. These are very Dad Thulu-esque, so I ordered a couple of those. All right. Now, we're going to wait. We're going to wait. Oh, there's another dye bag hiding down here, a bigger one. Ah, yes, House Kraken. I liked that one too. I went through and clicked on a lot of things. Let's see what we've got here. Some of their Titans. These are really impressive in person. I don't have, well, I might be able to do this. I have no idea how well that's going to show up on camera. Probably not well at all, but these are really, these big dice are really cool. This one is actually really nice. I forget which one this is. What 2 did I order for the Titans? Small die bag, small die bag. Island of Misfit. Hard to actually find it because there is a buttload of minis on this sheet. Mimic bathroom throne. Yeah, so that should be in there somewhere. I just didn't see it. Ranger, the Druid. Huh. Don't see it. Ah. This one's called Butterfly Lemonade. Because it's definitely not Chimango. That'll be the next one. I know what that one looks like. 55 millimeter die, and this is Butterfly Lemonade. And it is beautiful with the purples and blues and greens that come out of it. This is very nice. This orange is my color, so this one I wanted to have. It's probably going to be a little more red than I like in person. We'll have to see. Oh, I don't know. It's pretty deep orange, but that's definitely orange. Oh, look at that guy. That is Chimango. We have several of these. I don't roll them very often. They're sort of a novelty piece, but they're fun to have on the bookshelves and on your desk and whatnot when you fly your nerd flag loud and proud like I tend to. I'm gonna get rid of all of this right now before it gets me in trouble when I go home. This stuff gets everywhere. I understand the value as a packing material. I just don't understand why people still make this stuff. It's not as bad as the actual plastic Easter grass because that stuff gets charged with static and sticks everywhere, and it's awful. But yeah, that's just paper, which is actually, you know, it's going to break down and not be a nuisance and not get out to ocean and cause problems with all the plastic and everything. So that's actually just shredded paper, which is nice, but still, that's the kind of thing where if you're not careful with it, it's going to get everywhere. Alrighty, so I like the dice bags. Love that sticker. I think I'm keeping that one. This is pretty cool too. Alrighty, so this is something fun that they do every now and then. Island of Misfit dice. And these are mismatched and stray dice from varied sets, so they deliberately do not match. It's essentially a bag of orphans from sets that were missing a piece or weren't, not all of the dice were quality enough to sell, so it's not a whole set, or it's the only one left of a set after doing some replacements for people that need them. And they sort of put them together in pallets or groups or whatnot, and you get a set of misfit dice. And let's see what it says here. The Island of Misfit Dice. Each and every Kraken die is checked by hand for imperfections before we send it out to its new owner. These misfit dice are the ones that did not make the cut. Misfit dice sets want a home, a warm hand to caress them, and a chance to roll a natural 20 to live up to their potential. Adopt a set and give these dice a chance to roll. And over here, this comes with it, certificate of adoption. You get to name the set of dice because you're adopting them. And I vow to care for my misfit dice just like I care for my fine quality dice and give them a chance to roll. And you can sign and date it. So these are just, it's a fun little novelty. It's not anything that is, they're not, if you have a specific color that you like me, I'm into orange, or if you're into blue, that's not what you're going to get here. You're going to get a random assortment. It's a full set of dice. 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 20. It's a full polyhedral set of dice from mismatched sets. Wow, what is that guy? That's really cool. Looks like it's got a golden nugget in it. And they're your little set of orphan dice that you get to name and adopt and care for. Oh, somebody had an eye for blue with these guys. The certificate is the same in this one, but this is what came in the other bag. All sort of the same kind of palette. This guy definitely sticks out. So does that guy. That's kind of cool. None of these appear to be from the same sets. They are not, even though there's a little bit of resemblance. But this is the other set of misfit dice that we're looking for an adoption. So we have 2 sets of dice, misfit dice, that we have adopted and given homes to, instead of them being put in a shelf or disposed of because they didn't make the grade. Maybe they weren't shiny enough. Maybe they're round edged and they were supposed to be sharp edge. Maybe some of the inking's wrong. I'm not sure. All of these dice, none of them are chipped or broken or poorly inked or anything like that. So they don't look like the dice themselves have issues. They just look like they're from broken sets. These don't come around all that often. When they do, I've been waiting to get a set and just sort of, you don't get to pick them. They come at random because that's the point. So I've been waiting to get a set that I would like. This is the only 2 we've actually been able to get in a while, and yeah, this is just a fun little thing that they do. We've always thought this was really neat. But that is our order from Kraken. The big part of the box was the minis that we ordered. And yeah, let me switch this back over to the other view. So we had slated a game to play, so if anybody came to watch that, I am sorry that it fell through. I did the prep work for it, had everything going, designed this new overlay, which is, I don't know, a little oddball for me to be using for just a talk, but I liked the overlay and I just built it, so I wanted to use it. And we have lots of projects coming up. So hopefully folks are finding us. If you're reviewing this video, this is where we're starting. We've been at this for about a year, getting our local group that we stream with regularly squared away. We're still working on building out our new studio space, so we're not shooting where we are now. We have a new space we've been putting together. Once we have that space, we want to be doing more locally, meeting people, letting folks know that there are safe places for people to express themselves, safe places for them to be nerdy, enjoy their board games, enjoy any of the fandoms they like, whether they're into sci-fi or Harry Potter or My Little Pony or Last Airbender, Doctor Who, Star Trek and Star Wars. Everybody should be allowed to let their nerd flag fly and express themselves and express their passions for the things that they enjoy and are into without it being an issue and without having to feel ashamed, without having to feel like it's not okay, because it is absolutely okay. The things that we are passionate about are what make us human, and it's what brings joy to the lives that we have. So everybody should be allowed to express and enjoy their passions and their creativity, their nerdiness, and all of that. So that's what we're trying to develop here locally, and this is the community that we're building. We have a lot of irons in the fire right now. Honestly, I'm not sure how I'm going to get to them all. And part of my ADHD is I'm less interested in focusing sometimes on getting the projects done, and my mind runs and finds new things that would also be exciting to do. So it can be really tough, but it's what I've got, and I'm making the best of it. So we're going to put out a lot of things that are going to be a lot of fun moving forward. Primarily what we're going to be streaming is gaming, because there's not much else to actually share and broadcast and have it worthwhile to watch. If we're not doing something, if it's just me sitting here talking, how entertaining would this be if this is all you got? So we're going to be running different games. We're going to be playing board games and card games. We're going to be doing the modeling and painting. We're going to be doing the customization for the cars and the terrain for the different games that we play, like Gaslands, and the painting for the miniatures and the terrain for the role-playing games. And eventually, when we have our new space set up and space to work, costuming is something we want to get into. I have not done much of it myself. I've done just a little bit of it. I dressed up in costume for our Halloween stream and was in costume for our Baron Munchausen stream. It was the same outfit, but that's my first real foray into buying an outfit specifically to present a costume or character, and I really enjoyed it. There's lots of things I want to do. There's props I want to make to go in costume to the role-playing conventions and gaming conventions we have around here, all the way up to the big project where I would like to actually make a wearable suit of powered armor for a Warhammer 40k Space Marine. I have all of the instructions and everything I need to do it. I need the time, I need the materials, and I need to start myself up the learning curve. But things like that are what we intend to do. We're going to be doing character workshops. We're going to be doing introductions to more complicated board games and role-playing games for people who may not know that those are out there. There are lots of people that still think of Monopoly or Scrabble when you say board game, and board games today are really in-depth, very complicated, and tell incredible stories. They have beautiful, beautiful and elaborate boards and game pieces, and they are not the board games of, we'll just say, yesteryear. So we want to show these games to people and let people enjoy it and give people a supportive and encouraging environment to enjoy and explore the wonderful hobby that is gaming, that is costuming, that is fanfic writing, that is being part of a fandom. dressing up in costume when you go to a movie, making a costume for a character or a genre that you like. It's a fun and creative outlet and brings a lot of joy to people who are passionate, and it's something everybody should be able to indulge in. And that's what we want to do. We want to be a place where people can do that and know that it's okay. And we want to broadcast loud and proud that there are other folks out there, us, that are doing it loud and proud, and that it is okay. That it is okay to be yourself, it is okay to be nerdy, and it is okay to express yourself and be who you are in a safe environment and be accepted for exactly who you are. That's what's important to us. So I had no script and utterly rambled through this, so I'm going to wrap this up. Hopefully we have Dread rescheduled soon. We should have a game on Sunday, but some of the people that were supposed to be here tonight are also part of that. So maybe in the air, we'll have to see. And we will, let me just make sure. Looks like Nitty's the only one in chat. I don't know if you're still here, buddy, but I'm going to stop babbling here. There's lots of stuff we want to do. Nitty, the one in chat, is one of the people that I bought a video game specifically to play with, and I'm going to have to organize that very soon. What I do need to do, though, is play the game some myself, so I'm not an utter noob. I have to learn the basic controls, and then I can try to keep up. But yeah, we're all about expression and being supportive and being encouraging of people to not only be who they are with no judgment, but to express the things that they're passionate about. That's what Mythical Family is all about. And we're going to bring that example to everybody by expressing the things that we're nerdy and passionate about as well. So if down the road I get to show you guys what it's like to stomp around in a I'm 6'3", so in the powered armor costume, I'm probably gonna be approaching 8 foot. I will probably be over 7 feet. Maybe not approaching 8, but it's gonna give me 6 to 8 inches of height, I think. With the height that I am, it's gonna be colossal. It's gonna be fun. Show you what it's like to build that, show you what it's like to stomp around in it. 3D printing is something that we're into. I am into flying. I have a drone that I like to fly and get footage of. I have to get a license before we can actually put any of that stuff up. But I love flying my drone. I love engaging people with imagination. I think absolutely everybody has imagination in them that it would enjoy being part of a story, being the hero of their own story, and exploring situations that they wouldn't normally be part of. What are you going to do when something ridiculous? You're in the wilderness and you have to fight to survive. It's something you're used to, but how do you deal with a bunch of goblins attacking or a bunch of brigands trying to take your money and whatnot? Do you try to talk to them? Do you fight for your life? You know, there's role-playing is a very, very interesting form of expression and self-exploration. There are lots of therapeutic uses and applications for it. None that I'm qualified to talk on, so I won't. But there's something really deep and intrinsically, it's sort of cathartic sometimes for role-playing experiences. It's not always deep like that, but it's something I think everybody can enjoy if they give it a chance and they're surrounded by good people. So maybe not something they want to do all the time, but it's like a fun outing, I think, that anybody can really enjoy if they give it a chance. So I'm passionate about bringing that to people and letting them explore it. We have friends here that they back incredibly intricate and beautiful board games on Kickstarter, and some of these games you just can't believe how involved they are and how beautiful the presentation is. The artwork is outstanding on a lot of these games. We have folks that love to write. We have solo journaling games, which adds a random element to story prompts that we're also going to be exploring. And we're going to continue to meet local people, meet local gaming groups, start putting on local events and supporting local creators. Oh, this is way more than I normally talk. I'm a bookkeeper professionally, so I don't talk this much. Nobody wants to talk to me. I'm the numbers guy. So that's what we have planned. We've taken a long break. We need to get the props back in the water and get our momentum back, but we're going to hit the ground running real soon here, and hopefully the folks that find this video and find us want to come along for the ride, because we're going to be doing some good things. We're going to be doing the things that we're passionate about and enjoy, and we really hope we find folks that want to come along for the ride. I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to go see if my buddy Nitty is actually streaming tonight, because it looks like they're home. Oh, awesome. I just looked. I've got a camera on my hand fidgeting. Nervous tick. ADHD. Sitting still is difficult. So I'm going to wrap this up. You guys have a good night. Anybody that sat through this, I hope there was something fun in it for you. I hope you stick around and give us a chance to entertain you, and I hope that we encourage you to express yourself. And until next time, this is Dad Thulu signing out. Take care of each other, because we're all we've got.